Hello, everyone. Talking to you now is Lalani, your life coach, your life supporter from Tel Foundation. Today, I'm going to talk about stress management and looking at the triggers of stress and how can you manage that. Now, what we're going to talk about today is victim of crime and incident, changing the responsibilities, difficulty with your co-workers, and bereavement, legal issues, and family problems. Now, on our topic today, what we're going to talk about, looking at the victim of crime, you will find that for post-traumatic or post the incident of crime, a victim cannot deal with himself. The person started losing self-control, self-motivation. The person started to be not self controlled, and his or her emotion is totally shut down. Now, dealing with that, it's on its own a problem, and it takes time for a person to deal with abuse. And controlling the emotions of an individual like that is very difficult. Number one, the person need holistic development, because an abused person started to have what you have a fear, because now the love that was in the person is gone. And where the even from the Bible it says a love, where there is love there's fear, so they correlate together. So the moment that the love is gone, the one which is dominating is the fear. And once that fear is there, now the person has started to have a problem of dealing with himself. Sometimes others, they close the doors, they don't want noises, they don't want everything movements. When that stress come about, they close their windows, they don't want to interact with anybody, they don't want to work, so they don't want to interact with children, they don't want to interact with their family members, they don't trust anybody, because that fear embedded in them, it makes them really lose control of themselves. Now in that tone, what is happening to the person is slowly but surely the person is degrading and losing himself and losing his completeness as an individual. And that automatically, now what you call it, at the end of the day, it causes trauma. And dealing with the post-traumatic stress, it's a very problem, it's a very huge challenge to most people. Now, one thing that everyone undergoing any stress due to abuse has to understand is, number one, you have to accept that it happened. And the moment you're accepting that that incident happened, is you want to find the reason why it happened. And in finding those reasons, don't make yourself um responsible for it and say it happened because of me, it happened because it if it happened, a person abuses you, it because the person wanted to abuse you, not because you feel less of yourself and say if I was not part of this, it couldn't have happened. It means the person, the incident of abuse are long planned. It started first being meditated. A person starts seeing you in his mind, or start thinking of you in his mind, then slowly but surely planning what he's gonna do to you to make yourself deteriorate. Most of the time, we find abusive men are people with less self control. They're not feeling confident, and now you find this woman blabbling and babbling and in control. They don't want that. They feel intimidated. They feel minimized. They feel as if their position are being interrogated. Yet the person is just living the normal life. Now the woman or the man going through the abuse progress has to understand that it's not his fault that that happened. And that is one thing that the person has to understand, is that they have to believe in themselves. That belief which was there in the first place, it has to come back and say, I believe that I can do anything, I believe that I can be out of this. So the moment the person understands or believe in themselves, not in anybody else, they must stop believing in the other people, because they get disappointment. So the second that disappointment is there, they have to stop believing in that person. Now start believing in themselves. The first thing to deal with stress after abuse is that you have to understand that it's not your fault. That's number one. Number two, it will be okay. It's not right, but it will be okay if you give yourself time to heal, if you give yourself time to deal with yourself, if you give yourself time to to find ways to prevent the situation from happening. Now you find most people, they find themselves in situation whereby they cannot deal with anything else. They feel like they want to shut the whole world outside. They don't belong here. Someone else belong. Know that nobody here is supposed to be here than you, and you are the most important person ever. You are the most important person to deal with any situation. It happened because you are strong, and it happened because you can make it. And that is what people have to understand, that through the hardship of life they can make it, and they have to believe to themselves that I can do it. I am successful. I am strong. I'm myself, and I love myself. The moment they start to love themselves is the moment that everything it becomes a solution. Now there's nobody else. The victim has to understand that there will be nobody else to do it for you. You have to do it for yourself. You have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in the gift that God created you with, because He created you alone with a unique gift, with a unique special talent that nobody else. Even if they can beat you, they can abuse you, they can harass you, they can embarrass you, they can do whatever they want to do, but they will never take that away from you, because it is embedded in you, it is incremented in you, it is your identity. And what you need to do is stop the abuse to dwell in your life. Stop it to make you feel worthless, because you are worthful, you are powerful, you are strong, you have a strong mind. And what you used to be 10 years back, or when you were young as a 10 years girl or a boy with a strong mind, with a strong motive to push everything in life to happen the way they want to do it, remember that inner person in you, and start feeling that, and start feeling that person coming out in you, and said, I can do it, I will do it, I must do it, and I'm gonna make it. So for today, that is all for stress and the stress management on gender-based violence. And thank you very much for your time, and thank you very much for listening to Kalani from Tel Foundation. This is your love coach speaking, and I really love to see you the next time. Thank you.